This is a continuation of solving problems on singly reinforced section. In previous session, we had discussed analysis type problem, and in this session, we will be solving the design type problem for a singly reinforced section. The design of a singly reinforced section will consist of determining cross-sectional dimensions and area of steel so as to develop a given moment of resistance. So let us see how we will design a singly reinforced section. Before designing a singly reinforced section, there are some important points which one have to consider. Those important points are, firstly, in order to develop a given moment of resistance, one has to always try to design the section as an under reinforced section or a balanced section. We should never design over reinforced section because it leads to a compression failure. And from our previous discussion, we know that an over reinforced section will not give any warning before failure. Okay, so design a section as a balanced or under reinforced section. You have to design the beam section as a balanced or under reinforced section because this will ensure ductile failure in the beam. That is, you'd be able to get visible cracks in the beam, in the concrete beam, before failure occurs. A second point, how you can assure this section to be balanced or under reinforced section. Now this can be ensured by restricting my tension steel. So AST is my tension steel to be less than equal to limiting or maximum steel. Now this limiting or maximum steel corresponds to balanced section. Okay. When I am proposing a reinforcement such that it develops a given moment of resistance, if I ensure that reinforcement quantity is less than equal to maximum reinforcement in steel corresponding to balance section, then I will say the beam has been designed as an under reinforced section. Okay, and if it is equal to maximum steel corresponding to balance section, we'll say the beam has been designed as a balanced section. Now, how to compute this maximum steel? So you already know how to compute neutral axis depth. So this is the formula to compute neutral axis depth for an under reinforced section, and this formula you can also see from annexure G. Here we have this annexure G. Okay, rectangular section. Let us say if I'm designing a rectangular section. Now section without compression reinforcement, it means a singly reinforced section. Here it has been mentioned how you can compute neutral axis depth xu by d equal to this formula. So this formula itself has been written over here. Okay. Now I said maximum steel corresponding to balance section. If my neutral axis depth is maximum, my steel is also going to be maximum. Okay. For balance section, xu will become xu max and your reinforcement area of steel will be the maximum steel which will correspond to balance section. Now if I simplify this, what you get, AST max by BD equal to, you'll get this as 0.41, okay, FCK by Fy into XU max by D. So this you are going to, so AST max by BD will be 0.41 FCK Fy into XU max by D. For given grade of concrete and given grade of steel, I can compute maximum steel quantity. When I want an under reinforced section, I should make sure that the tension reinforcement is less than or equal to maximum steel which corresponds to balanced section. There is one more term which I would like to introduce. Now, this AST max by BD I can write like this also. AST max by BD into 100 will give me how much? 41 into FCK by Fy into XU max by D. Okay. This AST max by BD into 100 will be called as rho T lim. That is limiting percentage tension reinforcement. Okay, limiting percentage tension reinforcement. So I have this formula FCK by Fy XU max by D. So rho T lim is your limiting percentage tension reinforcement. So I can compute the limiting percentage tension reinforcement for given grade of concrete or given grade of steel. Or you can compute using this formula AST max, that is maximum steel, okay, or limiting steel as per this formula. So also if I write rho T, so this is percentage tension reinforcement, this has been defined as 100 AST by BD. Okay, so this rho T is defined as percentage tension reinforcement, because as we proceed in this course, there will be a possibility when you are going to come across this percentage tension reinforcement also. Okay, so that's why you should know this rho T is your percentage tension reinforcement, which is given as 100 AST BD. Now, third point, whatever applied ultimate moment is given for which you are designing the section, you have to compare this applied ultimate moment with the limiting moment carrying capacity. So, if the applied ultimate moment is less than or equal to limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam will be designed as a singly reinforced section. So when the beam will be designed as a singly reinforced section, when you find the applied moment less than equal to limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam. Okay, so you know what is singly reinforced section. So in singly reinforced section, what we have reinforcement provided on the tension side only. Okay, now if you find the applied ultimate moment greater than limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam, then you will say the beam will be designed as a doubly reinforced section. Okay, so whatever applied ultimate moment is there, what you do, you compare it with the limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam. Now if you find mu less than equal to limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam will be designed as a singly reinforced section. If applied ultimate moment is greater than limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam will be designed as a doubly reinforced section. What is a doubly reinforced section? In a doubly reinforced section, we provide tension reinforcement as well as compression reinforcement in the beam. So you'll be having steel in the tension side. Also, you will be having steel in the compression side. In the coming class, we'll discuss about the analysis as well as design of doubly reinforced section. Right now, we are discussing about singly reinforced section. So of course, the problem which we are going to have will make sure that the applied ultimate moment is always less than or equal to limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam. Fourth point. Always remember, a balanced design will give the smallest concrete section and maximum area of reinforcement. So what you will find if you are designing a beam section as a balanced section, you'll find that it will result in the smallest concrete section, while in that design the steel will correspond to maximum steel. Okay, so here is the explanation of it. You know this XU by D is what? 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK BD. Whenever we design an under reinforced section, this XU by D is less than XU max by D, right? So how I can reduce this XU by D? By increasing BD. That is, if I increase the cross section area of the concrete, my XU by D will be less, right? When XU by D is maximum, okay, so here you understand, if XU by D is maximum, what we have to do? If I am fixing this XU by D, so my BD is also fixed, okay, for particular BD, this XU max by D is fixed, and then this AST will correspond to what? Maximum. In this formula, you see BD corresponds to concrete area. If I increase this concrete area, my XU value is going to reduce. If it is reducing, it means what? That you have an under reinforced section. Suppose if you have a balanced design, XU is fixed, so the BD will also be fixed. Okay, so BD is also fixed, and that BD will correspond to the smallest concrete section. But if XU is maximum, so of course AST has to be also what? Maximum. So that's why it's been written balanced design gives smallest concrete section and maximum area of reinforcement. Fifth point, the tension reinforcement which you are going to compute, make sure it is greater than or equal to minimum steel recommendation which is given in IS 456-2000 for beam. So let us see what is that recommendation. So here you see in clause number 26.5.1, tension reinforcement, minimum reinforcement. Okay, so the formula is given as AST by BD equal to 0.85 Fy. Okay, so this recommendation is given in clause number 26.5.1.1 in page number 46. So what has been given to you? AST minimum. So what is AST minimum as per IS 456? It is AST minimum by BD equal to 0.85 Fy. Okay, so this formula is there in page number 47 of IS 456-2000. So make sure whatever tension reinforcement you provide, it is more than or equal to minimum tension reinforcement. Sixth point. After I get the tension reinforcement area, I will ascertain the dia and number of bars which has to be provided in the beam. Now, whenever I go with the number of bar, we have to make sure that the spacing between this longitudinal bar meets the code requirement. So we have minimum and maximum spacing between longitudinal bars. Okay, now let me show you. So here you see in clause number 26.3.2, minimum distance between individual bars. So you can read this clause. The important thing which I will consider in the design of beam problem is to make sure the spacing between the longitudinal bar is having value more than 5 mm plus nominal maximum size of core segregate. That is, I want to make sure the minimum spacing to be greater than or equal to maximum nominal size of aggregate plus 5 mm. So I need to make sure that minimum spacing between longitudinal bar has to be greater than or equal to maximum nominal size of aggregate plus 5 mm. Normally in reinforced cement concrete, the maximum size of aggregate we use is 20 mm. So most of the time I need to make sure that the spacing between, minimum spacing between longitudinal bar which you are providing is more than 25 mm. Okay. What is maximum spacing? This maximum spacing, again it's there in the code. Here you see in clause number 26.3.3, maximum distance between bars in tension. Okay. So if you read point number A, it is directing you to table number 15. So here using this table, depending upon percentage redistribution of moment, you can get what can be the maximum clear distance between bar. Suppose if you have 0% redistribution, generally for indeterminate structure, you do the redistribution of moment, while for determinate structure, there will not be any redistribution of moment. So, for example, if you have determinate structure, there is no redistribution, and if you are using Fe500 steel, what is the maximum distance between longitudinal bar? It will be 150 mm. So I hope it's clear. So I'll write down maximum spacing. This is given in table number 15, page number 46. Okay. So we have to keep these 6 points in mind when we are designing a singly reinforced rectangular beam section. So let us quickly recap it. So the first point which I said, always design the beam section as a balanced or under reinforced section. Secondly, whenever I am designing, make sure whatever tension reinforcement you provide, it is less than equal to maximum steel, which corresponds to balance section. Also, we introduced percentage tension reinforcement, which is given as 100 AST by BD. So indirectly, you make sure that percentage tension reinforcement is less than equal to limiting percentage tension reinforcement. We have derived the expression also. Next, now if you find applied ultimate moment less than limiting moment carrying capacity, then the beam will be designed as a singly reinforced section. If it is more than limiting moment carrying capacity, the beam will be designed as a doubly reinforced section. You have to remember that if your section is balanced, if you are designing a balanced section, it will give you the smallest concrete area, while that will correspond to maximum tension reinforcement. Okay. So from economic point of view, you will always prefer under reinforced section because concrete is not very expensive compared to your steel. So you'd like to save the amount of steel. If you save the amount of steel, indirectly you are trying to get some economy. Next, I said that whatever tension reinforcement you are going to provide, make sure it is more or equal to the minimum tension reinforcement which has been recommended for beam as per IS 456. The next point is to make sure that the clear spacing which you provide for the longitudinal bars meets the codal requirement. It should lie between minimum and maximum clear spacing. We'll solve this problem now. What we have? We have a rectangular reinforced concrete beam which is located inside a building in a coastal town, is simply supported on two 250 mm thick and 6 meter apart masonry wall. This distance is center to center. The beam has to carry, in addition to its own weight, a distributed live load of 10 kN per meter and a dead load of 5 kN per meter. Design the beam as singly reinforced section. Use Fe415 steel. So in question it has been mentioned that you have to design the beam as a singly reinforced section. Okay. After reading this question, you will find that the grade of concrete is missing. So you are the one who have to specify the grade of concrete, but make sure it is as per the recommendation of code by giving due consideration for durability criteria. As per durability criteria, which you can select based on the exposure condition, like the beam is inside a building in a coastal town. So you'll be having an exposure condition with reference to this condition. Let us see what exposure condition is applicable here, and based on exposure condition we will be selecting the grade of concrete as well as the cover to the reinforcement. It's very important. So here we have to specify the grade of concrete before designing. Since it's not specified, let us see the code for the exposure condition. You come to table number 3 where exposure condition has been given. Now if you read moderate and look into this, you can go through different environment and the exposure condition, and you can select what is the environment. Now if I see under moderate, it's written concrete surfaces sheltered from saturated salt air in coastal area. I have moderate environment condition. With respect to moderate environment condition, I'll be selecting the grade of concrete. So let us see what should be the grade of concrete. Come to table number 5. Here you'll find for moderate exposure condition under reinforced cement concrete, minimum grade of concrete should be what? M25. So in this problem, what you have, you can provide the minimum grade of concrete as what? M25. You can go with M30, M35 or M40 also. But let us take or let us consider the grade of concrete as M25, which is the minimum grade of concrete for moderate exposure condition. You cannot go with M20. So as per the environment, you select the exposure condition. For cover, let us see what is the criteria for cover. So here you see nominal cover to meet durability requirement. For moderate exposure, what is the concrete cover which you should go for? You should go with 30 mm as the concrete cover. Okay. So what you will write down here, exposure, so write down, since exposure condition is moderate, use M25 grade concrete with concrete cover as 30 mm. Okay, so this M25 grade concrete is minimum, which is for moderate exposure condition, and if you have moderate exposure condition, you provide minimum cover of 30 mm. Well, if you see in this question, the cross section dimension of the beam has not been given. So you have to specify what should be the width of the beam, what should be the depth of the beam, and also the amount of reinforcement, such that the section which you are proposing, it resists the movement because of the load which is going to act on the beam, and the load will be the self weight and live load of 10 kilonewton per meter and 5 kilonewton per meter. So my first step will be to assume the trial dimension. Okay. So my first step is the trial section. So in trial section, what we'll do, we'll select the width of the beam. Normally, the beam supports the wall, and based on wall thickness, you can select the beam width, but it is not a mandatory criteria. So you are free to select the width of the beam, but from aesthetics point of view, you always restrict the width of the beam equal to the thickness of the wall, or it is equal to the width of the supporting column. It's just from aesthetic point of view. Whenever I select the width of the beam, try to select the width in multiple of 50. That will be nice, but that is, again, I'm saying it's not mandatory, it's a design problem, so you can have a deviation. So I'll say that try width of the beam as 250 mm. We have selected the width of the beam as 250 mm. Now next we have to select the depth of the beam. This depth is ultimately going to control the deflection in a beam. If you have more depth in the beam, it means you will get less deflection. As a general guidance, so this is just like a guidance, so you can note as a guidance, assume D in the range of 1/12 to 1/15 of span of beam. So you assume D lying between 1/12 to 1/15 of span of beam, and this D we can always revise depending upon the condition, and we'll see. So right now I'll see D equal to what? 1/12 into the span of the beam is 6 meters, so 1/12 into 6000 to 1/15 into 6000. So this depth comes out to be how much? This will be 500 to 400. So you can assume the depth of the beam anywhere from 500 to 400 mm. So what I will do, I will say try D equal to 500 mm. So it is your choice, like how much depth you want to provide. Okay. Now you have ascertained the cross section of the beam. Once you ascertain the cross section of the beam, you would be able to compute the self weight of the beam. So let us write the next step. Now in the next step, what we will do, after computing the trial dimension, let us determine the ultimate moment for which the beam has to be designed. Determination of ultimate moment. So how you are going to determine ultimate moment? Let us see the beam which we have. So here you can see you have a 6-meter span beam which is supported on a 230 mm thick wall. Okay. Now the cross section of the beam which we have adopted. This is the beam. The cross section of the beam which we have adopted. We have saying that the width of the beam is how much? 250 mm and depth as 500 mm. Okay. So this is 250 mm and the depth is how much? 500 mm. And this is the beam. This is a 6-meter span beam, and please note the 6-meter span beam is measuring from center to center of the support. Okay, so you have the span of the beam as 6 meter, which is center to center. Now in this beam, what loads are acting? You have this UDL. Okay, so one load is dead load of the beam, another is live load of the beam. Also you have self weight of the beam. Okay, so you have self weight acting on the beam, you have dead load acting on the beam, you have live load acting on the beam, and whatever load has been given, those are service load. And for limit state of collapse, what we need ultimate load. So what will be the ultimate dead load? Okay, so what will be the ultimate dead load? It will be partial factor of safety of load because of dead load, which is 1.5 into, so the dead load which is given to you is how much? It is 5 kilonewton per meter. So here it becomes 1.5 into 5. What about live load? Again, the load factor is 1.5 into 10. Now for the self weight, what will be the self weight of the beam? The self weight of the beam will be 1.5 into density of concrete into cross section area. So what is the cross section area? It is 0.25 into 0.5. Okay, so the self weight, so this is the UDL 25 into 0.25 into 0. Which is the working load. Now this I have to multiply with 1.5 so that I get the ultimate load which is going to act on the beam, because as per limit state of method, for flexure we are going to design my beam for the ultimate load. So that's why what we'll write, loads acting on, let me write ultimate loads acting on beam. So first is my self weight, let me denote as, it will be what? partial factor of safety of load 1.5 into density of RCC into cross section area. Cross section area is 0.25 into 0.5. Then it will be kilonewton per meter. Then we have dead load. So again, partial factor of safety of load 1.5 into 5, and then we have live load, which is 1.5 into 10. Okay. So what will be the ultimate load which is acting on the beam? So the ultimate load which is acting on the beam is W equal to sum of all these three loads. So if I sum this up, it will be 27.2 kilonewton per meter. So the ultimate load which is acting on the beam is how much? 27.2 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Because of this load W, which is acting on the simply supported beam, you are going to have maximum moment at the midspan. Okay. At midspan, you are going to have maximum movement. Now, you would like to proportion your reinforcement, proportion your tension reinforcement such that it provides the capacity of your rectangular section equal to that of maximum moment. So let us compute the maximum moment, that is your ultimate moment which is going to act on the beam. So the ultimate moment which is going to act on the beam, I'll write this as mu equal to W into L effective square divided by 8. So for a simply supported beam subjected to a UDL, okay, the maximum moment at midspan is how much? If this is W, the span is L, maximum moment at midspan is how much? WL square by 8. Okay, so based on that, I have the load as the ultimate load W into effective span square divided by 8. Here we have to compute the effective span. So L effective is the effective span of beam. So we have to compute this effective span for this case. So how you are going to compute the effective span of the beam? So again, we will go to code. For effective span, you come to page number 34 and read clause number 22.2. In point number A, don't read slab, it is simply supported beam. So what is being written? The effective span of a member that is not built integrally with its support shall be taken as clear span plus the effective depth of slab or beam or center to center of support, whichever is less. So what I can do based on page number 34, clause number 22.2a. So this is based on page number 34, clause number 22.2a. Your effective span is what? Minimum of center to center distance between support or clear span plus effective depth D. Okay, so whichever is minimum among these two, that will be your effective span. So here you see you want to know the effective depth of the beam. So what will be the effective depth of the beam? Effective depth of the beam will be overall depth of the beam minus effective cover. So what you can do, you can assume your effective cover. So let us assume effective cover as 50 mm. So I've assumed effective cover as 50 mm. So what will be your effective depth D? Your effective depth D will become 500 is the overall depth of the beam minus 50, which becomes 450 mm. So effective depth is 450 mm. Now as per this, what is your effective span? If I want to know the effective span, minimum center to center distance between support is how much? It is 6 meter. Clear span plus D. So clear span plus D. So let us see what is the clear span. So here this is going to be your clear span. So this distance will be your clear span. So can you tell me what will be the clear span? So this clear span will be nothing but 6 minus, this is the width of the wall, this is the masonry wall thickness, which is given as 230 mm, that is 0.23 meter. Here also this distance is 0.23 meter. So how much will be this distance? 6 minus 0.23 by 2 minus 0.23 by 2. So it becomes 6 minus 0.23, and this is your clear span. So your clear span will be how much? 6 minus 0.23. It comes out as 5.77 meter. So here what I can do, here it will become how much? Clear span is 5.77 and effective depth is 450 mm, that is 0.45 meter. So your effective span will be how much? It will be, of course, 6 meter. Okay, so the effective span is 6 meter. Now we can compute the maximum ultimate moment which is going to act on the beam. So that will be how much? Mu equal to WU is 27.2, 27.2. Effective span is 6 square divided by 8. So how much is the ultimate moment? It will be 122.4 kilonewton meter. So we have computed the ultimate moment for which the beam has to be designed. I've selected the width as well as depth of the beam. Now we have to get the steel quantity such that my beam capacity is either equal to 122.4 or it is more than this moment which is going to act on the beam. So we know if I want to design a singly reinforced section, I have to make sure my ultimate moment acting on the beam has to be less than the limiting moment carrying capacity of the beam. So for the beam to be designed as a singly reinforced section, your mu has to be less than mu lim. So let us compute mu lim. What is the grade of steel? The grade of steel is Fe415. So for Fe415 grade steel, the limiting moment carrying capacity is 0.138 FCK BD square. If you do this computation, how much limiting moment you get? Grade of concrete is how much? 25, because it's a moderate exposure condition. Width of the beam which we have adopted is 250 and effective depth which we computed is 450. So my limiting moment carrying capacity is coming 174.66 into 10 power 6 Newton millimeter, or you can write 174.66 kilonewton meter. Now here you see your mu is less than mu lim. So you can design the beam as a singly reinforced section. Since mu is less than mu lim, design beam as singly reinforced section. Okay. Now suppose if this moment would have been 200 kilonewton meter. Okay. I'll take a case when this moment is, let us say it is 200 kilonewton meter. Now what you can find, 200 kilonewton meter moment is what? It is greater than mu lim. So what you have to do? You'll say that you have to design the beam as a doubly reinforced section. But if I say no, you design the beam as a singly reinforced section, then what you can do? Now since my B and D, whatever I am using right now, it is a trial dimension. Okay, so I can change this B and D because this value is not fixed, and it is always advisable you change D, because if you change D slightly, what happens? Because it is having a power of 2, with slight increase in D, limiting moment carrying capacity increases. So if you get at this case, and if I say no, you design the beam as a singly reinforced section, what can be the solution? Increase limiting moment carrying capacity. And how you can increase limiting moment carrying capacity? Revise the cross section dimension. So whatever we had said, like trial dimension, you have to revise those trial dimension. So that can be done. I can revise my D such that my limiting moment carrying capacity is more than the ultimate moment. Okay. So, but here I don't have any problem. Here you can see my mu is less than mu lim, so I have to design the beam as singly reinforced section. Now next step is what? You have to compute tension reinforcement. So my next step will be computation of tension reinforcement. Okay. Now whatever tension reinforcement I provide, okay, if it is AST, I should make sure it should lie within what? Maximum tension reinforcement and minimum tension reinforcement. So whatever tension reinforcement I provide, it should lie between minimum and maximum tension steel. So what is AST minimum? So as per code we had seen your AST minimum was AST minimum by BD equal to 0.85 by Fy. Okay. So from here I can get AST minimum, which is 0.85 divided by Fy is 415. Width of the beam is 250 and effective depth is 450. We get minimum steel as 230.42 millimeter square. So your minimum steel is 230.42 millimeter square. What about AST max? For this we had derived the formula. If you remember, it was 0.41 into FCK by Fy, right, into XU max by D into BD. So we had AST max as this one, we had derived this. Now we'll compute maximum steel quantity. It will be 0.41 into 25 divided by 415. XU max by D for Fe415 steel is 0.48. Width of the beam is 250. Effective depth is 450. If I do this computation, I get the maximum steel as 1333.7 millimeter square. We'll ensure the tension reinforcement which we provide, it should lie between 230.42 millimeter square and 1333.7 millimeter square. Now, in order to compute the tension reinforcement, moment carrying capacity will be equated with tension force which is going to get developed in my reinforcement into lever arm. Now this capacity of the beam has to be equal to the maximum ultimate moment which is acting on the beam. Now the maximum ultimate moment which is acting on the beam is 122.4 kilonewton meter. So we get mu equal to 122.4 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton millimeter equal to tension force. So tension force is 0.87 into Fy 415 into AST, which we have to compute, into lever arm. So lever arm is how much? D is my 450 minus 0.42 XU. Now what about XU? XU we know what is XU. We know what is XU. Now XU is how much? This XU by D. You know XU by D, it is 0.87 Fy AST divided by 0.36 FCK BD. So this DD cancel. So this is XU. Now this XU, what I can do, I can substitute over here. So let me substitute here this XU. Okay, 0.42 into 0.87 into Fy into AST divided by 0.36 FCK into. Okay, so here you can see you are getting an expression for computing AST, and this is a quadratic equation. You have to solve this quadratic equation. Once you solve this quadratic equation, you are going to get two values of AST. Okay, and you are going to ignore one of the AST which has value more than AST max. Once you simplify this expression, you will get a quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation which you are going to get is AST square minus 6676.56 AST plus 5029840 equal to 0. If I solve this quadratic equation, you are going to get two root. One AST will be 865 millimeter square or 5810.96 millimeter square. Okay. Now this steel I cannot have. Why I cannot have? Because the maximum steel is how much? Maximum steel, how much you can provide? You can provide 1333.7 millimeter square of steel. Whereas here it has exceeded that limit. So I cannot provide this steel. So I will ignore this value. So my steel will be, AST will be 865.6 millimeter square. Now this steel is lying between minimum and maximum steel. So I can provide this amount of reinforcement in order to get a capacity of the beam as 122.4 kilonewton meter moment. Now this reinforcement has to be arranged, okay, in the tension side of the beam. So how you are going to do it? Now we'll see how you're going to provide this reinforcement in your beam. Okay, so this is your beam. You have maximum moment acting over here. So I have to provide my tension reinforcement in the bottom fiber. Okay, so I expect my reinforcement to be provided like this. Okay, so this is the reinforcement which I have to provide in the tension side. Of course, you will be having some hanger bars over here, you will be having stirrups, but right now for the ultimate movement I need to provide my reinforcement in this manner. So in the cross section, how your reinforcing bar arrangement will look like, so that we need to determine. So as of now I know here the area of steel has to be 865.6 millimeter square or more. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll select the diameter of bar which we have to provide 865.6 millimeter square steel. So what we need to do next, we'll assume the diameter of bar which you are going to provide in this beam and arrive into number of these bars which has to be embedded in your beam. So I'll say let us provide 20 mm dia bars. Then how many number of these 20 mm bars where you will require? You will require, it will be n into n is number of 20 mm dia bars, n into pi by 4 into 20 square. So this should be equal to how much? 865.6 millimeter square. Here you will get n equal to 2.76. But n cannot be in decimal, it should be a whole number. You cannot provide 2.76 bar. It has to be how many bars? It has to be 3 bars. So you will write provide 3 numbers of 20 mm dia bars. So let us see how much steel you have provided. So AST provided. So this is the steel which you are providing. So it is 3 into pi by 4 into 20 square. You have provided 942.5 millimeter square steel. Okay. So you please check, AST provided is 942.5 millimeter square steel, which is less than 1333.7 millimeter square steel, which is fine for me. So you are not providing over reinforced section. So provided steel is 942.5 millimeter square if you go with 320 mm dia bars. Okay, let us come to this cross section of the beam. Here we have to provide the bars, 320 dia bars. Here we have 320 dia bars which you have provided. Now I want to make sure that this spacing is this S between the longitudinal bar is greater than minimum spacing but less than maximum spacing. Okay, so can we compute this S? Yes, we can do compute this S. How you can compute S? Now to compute this S, this cover how much we had assumed? This cover has to be how much? 30 mm. This cover has to be 30 mm. The concrete cover is 30 mm. So we have 2 into 30 plus S plus S. So this is 2s, 2 spacing, plus you have 320 dia bars, so it will be 3 into 20. Now this dimension has to be how much? It has to be 250. So from here you get the spacing as 65 mm. Okay, this spacing is coming as 65 mm, which is fine for me. Why? Because minimum spacing will be how much? Maximum nominal size of the aggregate plus 5 mm. If maximum size of the aggregate is 20 mm, so minimum size will be how much? 20 plus 5, so 25 mm. So 65 is more than 25. Now what is the maximum spacing? Now maximum spacing, if you go to the code, go to page number 46. So here in page number 46, since it's a determinate structure, that is no percentage redistribution, that is 0. For Fe415 steel, what is the maximum spacing between bars? It is 180 mm. So this maximum spacing is 180 mm. So 65 mm is lying between 25 and 180 mm, which is fine for me. So you can definitely embed 320 dia bars in the bottom fiber in a single layer. Okay. So finally, you show in the sketch this 320 mm dia bar with cross section 250 mm and 500 mm as the overall depth of the beam. I hope you have understood this problem, how to solve it.